and on this video I'm gonna show you its features and how it works in preparation for installation. And as always, I have placed a link to this kit in the description down below in case you need to get one. And I'm actually really excited to show you guys this kit because Azdome has loaded this thing with accessories, which is not common. Normally hardwire kits only include the bare essentials. Here it looks like we have everything we need in one package. Let's get a closer look at it. And here are the contents of the kit. First off, we have the actual hardwire kit, and then we get 4 pairs of functional fuse tabs in different sizes. And we also get a little fuse puller to make removing fuses from the fuse box a lot easier. And then we also get a little piece of double-sided tape to secure the hardwire kit to the vehicle. And finally, we get this owner's manual. But let's begin this review by looking at the hardwire kit itself and what each one of these wires do. I'm also going to explain how the fuse tabs work and how they're used to connect this hardwire kit to the fuse box of our vehicle. On one end of the hardwire kit, we have a mini USB right angle connector. Then on the opposite end of the hardwire kit, we have the wires that are going to go to the fuse box of the vehicle. Let's get a closer look at this box. And starting off with power output, the Azdome hardwire kit is able to output 2.5 amps of power. We also have an adjustable low voltage cutoff. That is at the point where this hardwire kit is going to turn off to avoid draining the battery. And we get 4 choices activated by these little switches. We can select as high as 12.4, 12.2, 12.0, or as low as 11.8. And the hardwire kit is also compatible with 24-volt car systems. So the best way to think about the low voltage cutoff option is that the option further to the right is the most conservative one and the safest one to select, and the option further to the left is going to be the most aggressive one that is going to keep the hardwire kit on the longest. What's also interesting is that Azdome says that if we forget to select what setting we want for the low voltage cutoff, the kit is automatically going to default to the lowest one, which is the 11.8 volts. But also, if we select 2 settings at the same time by mistake, Azdome says that the kit again will default to its lowest setting of 11.8 volts. And here's how the double-sided tape would be used. I will peel that, stick it to the back of the hardwire kit, peel this one more time, and then stick this to my vehicle to ensure that the kit does not rattle once it's installed. And in case you're curious about the cable length of this hardwire kit, this whole thing measures about 3.5 meters, which is about 10 feet long. Moving over to the end that goes to the fuse box of the vehicle, we have 3 wires and each one has been labeled with this function. Let's begin with this one right here, which has been labeled ground, GND. Normally for ground, I find a bolt in the vehicle, loosen that bolt, and if there is metal right there, I can slide this under, retighten the bolt, giving me ground. Next up, we have 2 power wires. One has been labeled BAT and one has been labeled ACC. Let's begin with the BAT wire, which stands for battery. This wire has to go to a power source that has power all the time, even when the car is off. The next wire, which has been labeled ACC, which stands for accessory, has to be connected to a power source that has power only when the car is on the accessory position or when the car is on. When the car is off, there should be no power going to the ACC wire. So to recap, this wire is going to go to ground, this wire is going to go to battery power, which means it has power all the time, and the ACC wire is going to go to accessory power, only has power when the car is in the accessory position or when the car is on. But I do want to give you a heads up regarding the colors of the wire in this hardwire kit. In this kit, BAT is red and ACC is yellow. I've seen other kits where the red one is for ACC and the yellow one is for BAT. So this is the reason why I don't like to use the colors. I always go by the label of the wires to know exactly where to connect them because the colors may be different from brand to brand. Moving over to the fuse box of the vehicle, you'll notice that these ends will not connect to the fuse box, and that is where the fuse tabs that they have included in the kit come in. Notice that the fuse tab is going to get inserted in here, and once I fully seat and lock that in place, it now can connect to the fuse box and make that connection. And you may have noticed that the kit included several fuse tab sizes. The very first fuse tab size is the ATO fuse. Then the next size is the mini fuse. The next size is the micro fuse. And finally, we have the low profile fuse. So on my dummy fuse box right here, it uses mini fuses, so I'm gonna select the fuse tab that matches the mini size. But going back to the fuse box of the vehicle, I know I need to find two sources of power, ACC and BAT. Now some fuse boxes have spare spots. For example, here's a couple of empty spare spots. And let's imagine that this one provides ACC power. Then I can grab my ACC wire and then insert that in here, and that connection has been completed. Now I need to find BAT power. Now let's imagine that I found an empty fuse spot and that fuse spot provides BAT power. I can take the wire for the BAT power and insert that in here. So now I have effectively made the connections for ACC and BAT. But sometimes there are no empty fuse spaces, which means I'm gonna have to remove an existing fuse to be able to install my fuse tab. Let's imagine that this one right here happens to provide the right power. In this case, for example, I am just looking for ACC power. So I'm gonna pull this guy off and I'm gonna take my ACC wire and install the fuse that I pulled off in the bottom portion of that fuse tab. So as you can see, the original fuse for the hardwire kit stays on the top. The fuse that I pull from the fuse box is gonna go in the bottom. And then I can take this and connect this to my fuse box. At that point, I have effectively connected two fuses into one fuse spot, and that is the advantage of using functional fuse tabs. And in case you're curious of how I actually find where to plug in BAT and where to plug in ACC, I have made a separate video showing that process in great detail. I'll put a link to that video in the description down below in case you want to check that out. And finally, the included owner's manual does have the instructions in 4 different languages including English, and shows how the low voltage point cutoff works and how to select the right voltage for this kit to turn off, how the fuse tab works, and how each one of the connections is gonna be made to the vehicle. So overall, I think Azdome has done a great job in putting a complete hardwire kit together. I like the fact that we have the ability to adjust the low voltage cutoff. I like that they included the fuse tab kit and that we can quickly swap out the fuse sizes. Some hardwire kits do not have the ability for you to swap out those sizes, so now you have to go and purchase these things separately. And now that you're familiar with this hardwire kit, make sure you check out my other video on the actual hardwire kit installation process. I'll place the link to that video in the description down below. And if you have any other questions regarding the Azdome hardwire kit, please put that in the comments down below. Remember, I placed a link to this kit in the description also in case you need to get one for yourself. And if you found any part of this video helpful, hit the thumbs up button to support the channel, and stay tuned as I have a lot more dashcam reviews coming up. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.